Live from the Business RadioX studio inside Renaissance Bank, the bank that specializes in understanding you. It's time for North Fulton Business Radio.
And hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of North Fulton Business Radio. I'm John Ray, and folks, we're broadcasting as usual from inside Renaissance Bank in beautiful Alpharetta, and it is a beautiful day today. Nice fall day. Folks, if you are tired of the absolutely soul-crushing experience of being at a mega bank, if you're one of those customers that you just decided you've had enough and you can't deal with it anymore and you're about to run out into the street screaming, don't do that. Just change banks. And I've got an idea for you, Renaissance Bank. Now, here's what I hear from clients that come back to me after I referred them to Renaissance. They tell me that Renaissance is big enough to handle pretty much any need that they have as a business, but they're small enough to deliver their services in a personal way. And that's a magic combination that I think you might find appealing if you're in the situation you're in now. So go to renaissancebank.com and find one of their local offices, give them a call, be in touch, and I think you'll be glad you did. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, member FDIC. And now I want to welcome Paris and James Williams. Paris and James are with Next Level Financial. Paris, James, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Glad to have both of you. So let's talk a little bit about Next Level Financial and how you're serving folks out there.
Awesome.
We are a fractional CFO company. So we service service-based business owners who are kind of losing track of the financials, wanting support. And we're a married couple with 3 kids, and we also work together. So just throwing in a little personal.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. So how's that? Give some advice to those folks out there that are thinking about jumping in. That happens a lot. People coming out of corporate and they want to have a better family life. Do they get a better family life by working together in a business or not?
I don't know if they will, but we did.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
We love it.
Yeah.
It's a bit of my story is I was a teacher and a school principal for a long time.
Really?
And James worked in finance, and I was like a superstar as a school leader because everybody's like, Mrs. Williams, you're helping the community and blessing the children. And so it's very good, one, to have the impact as a family and to come together and do something as a united front. Mm-hmm. So for us, it works. Will it work for everybody? I don't know, but I love it. And I encourage couples. Have you ever thought about working together?
Yeah. It's actually really good. And to Paris's point, not everyone can do it. Depends on your personality, depends on your vision for yourself and in your future. One of the benefits that we get is being able to have our kids around and seeing what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And they're also learning a lot from how we work together, but also just learning a lot about business. So it ends up being really good. And for me, it's also, as a dad, just being able to stay close to the family.
Right.
Whereas my work before, I was gone a lot, sometimes traveling. Mm-hmm. So being able to really continue to cultivate the family is a good thing.
Yeah, that is. Talk about this transition, how your firm started, why a fractional CFO firm.
Yeah. So when we started, it was really a side business that I was doing, and I really didn't even plan it. I always loved finance. I have an accounting degree. I've worked in investments and worked in finance my whole career. And so I developed a reputation among my friends for just being the finance person. And some of my friends that had businesses, they would ask me questions and, can you help with this? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? A few years back this was really interesting. On 2 different separate occasions, friends come to me and say, hey, can I get your help with this? And I would help them. And then they would proceed and say, no, I really need your help. I'll pay you to help me. And I was like, I wasn't really expecting it. And I was like, oh, was like, no, but I was so much in that, I don't know, helping mindset. Maybe that's
Right.
the way to term it.
Sure.
Where I was like, no, you don't have to pay me. It's just, I enjoy this kind of thing.
Huh?
And so it's not a thing. I'll do it. And I always tell the story, and I talk about Paris's reaction when I told her that there was someone who offered me money to perform some service, and how I turned it down. And she
didn't kill you because you're here alive.
I'm still here. But she made it abundantly
But I
clear.
told him to go back and get that paycheck. Okay.
She made it abundantly clear that I was to go back. And I did. And so that's where it started. I started helping. I was still working my corporate job, and I was just helping friends out on the side. And then after a while, it was like, wow, this really could, there's something here. I'm enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also making an impact on these businesses.
Yeah.
And I was like, we can take this thing somewhere, someplace further. So
That's wonderful. Now, what a great story. And obviously, people saw something in you that made them want to approach you for help, because when you're talking about opening up the financials and just the whole finance side for a business owner, that's a big step for a lot of business owners.
yeah, it is. Particularly in one of the cases that I'm referring to, where it was someone that was not very confident in how to handle the finance side. And I think maybe for me, I'm not a judgmental person, meaning I don't call out a lot of, what is this about?
Why
are
did you
doing
do
this?
that?
Why'd you do this? Like, I don't do that at all.
Okay.
I come in and I just ask questions, understand. And for me, what I know is, and this is even today in the businesses that we work with, is we all have competencies in different types of areas. There's some things that I just can't, I can't do. And so we all need each other in order to fill certain gaps. And so I'm big on encouraging people in their skill set and what they're doing and their ability to grow their business to a certain level and a certain point. And sometimes there's just a need for someone like me to help boost the momentum to take it further.
So it sounds like you recognize this need in your own business, because at a certain point you decided to recognize your shortcomings and bring in a new CEO, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
Paris,
Yeah.
I believe.
I like how you framed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because really, this goes back to our initial conversation about opposites attract in marriage. And I think the same works for us in business. We talk about this a lot. James is quiet and confident. He has a lot of power and he has a lot of strength that, like, I do not have. And I always say he's very disciplined and he's very curious. You get on a discovery call with him, he's going to ask a million questions because he really loves to learn about your business. I love meeting people, promoting the business, structuring the work so that we can multiply it. And so it just works out really beautifully.
Yeah.
So I came in full time to this work when we moved to Georgia in 2022.
Okay.
And my grandmother says I have a takeover spirit, and I think that means strong leadership.
I see.
So I came in and we really worked together to make it a model that's super helpful for our clients. And yeah, we're definitely on a growth trajectory and we're all about making impact. And like James said, a lot of companies that we work with, folks are not confident in this area. So that's okay. That's part of our role, is to be the support for that particular area. There's a great book called Who, Not How, written by Benjamin Hardy. And he says a lot of us are trained in school to think, how am I going to figure this out when we get a problem? And sometimes that's the solution. But a lot of times, really, the question is, who can help me to do this and who can help me to go to the next level? So we want to be that who for the business owners that are looking to scale.
Yeah. Wow. That's powerful. Paris and James Williams are with us, folks. They are with Next Level Financial, which is a fractional CFO firm. Do you find, we were talking about this before we came on the air, do you find that business owners understand the concept of a fractional CFO in general? Or do they know what they're getting into is the question. And how that differs from a bookkeeper, let's say.
I'm glad you brought that up because as a former teacher, I think part of my role as now the CEO is to just make it really plain and simplify what we do so people understand it. Like, I'm not trying to look smart. I'm trying to make sure that you understand what we do. So I often use the bookkeeper as an example. So people will say, how are you different from my bookkeeper? Or people will say, my bookkeeper is not answering my strategy questions. I think I want to fire them and hire you. And I say, oh no, that's not the way it works. We work with your bookkeeper. So I will say your bookkeeper or your accountant gets your financials in order. They should be emailing you and asking you questions about all of your transactions. They should be giving you that meeting and talking through your financials with you. Our role is to come in and yes, we will help oversee that bookkeeper, or maybe it's a controller level accountant, but we really come in on the strategy side when you're not just looking to go backwards, but you're also wanting to look forward in your business.
That makes a lot of sense. And it seems to me at a certain point, there's a tipping point with the business where strategy becomes vital if they're going to get to the next level. So do you see that the need for your services come along when maybe a business has plateaued in some way?
Yeah, that's exactly the issue. And for us, the businesses that we work with are million plus range. And it's not only, it's a tipping point for many different reasons. One, things start to become more complex. More complexity comes into the business. Maybe there's more people that are in the business, and the business owner, CEO is running in a million different directions. And sometimes there is a competency to understand financials and understand numbers, but the time isn't there. So that at that point is where there's not enough attention paid to, okay, how do we move forward? How do we make these decisions? And they're making decisions off of gut feeling, really, off of what they feel. And my feeling on that is I believe that there's a place for your gut. There's a place for having some intuition, but we have to bring that together and marry it together with the numbers. We have to marry that with actual sort of financial strategy with where we're going. So it is absolutely that, give you example when it comes to decisions about reinvesting in the business, be it hiring new people or investing in inventory, for example, like making some sort of big commitments like that. Like those are the types of things that we help with and we do analysis for. We look at the overall picture, we look at where we're going, and we're able to look at the whole thing in context. And a lot of times that space isn't available for a business owner that has a lot of things on their plate and they don't have really someone over this particular area really manning the financial front.
Yeah, the one thing you said there that stands out for me, James, is the where we're going piece, right? Because that, by definition, a bookkeeper is looking backwards. By definition, a CPA, for the most part, is looking backwards, right?
Yep.
So it's history, and history's great, but you've got to figure out like where you're going.
Yep.
And so do you help clients get to a point where they've got key indicators that are like leading indicators for their business and try to figure out what those are so they can manage by a dashboard? Is that where we're going here?
Yeah. So one of the things that we do, we have what we call a financial metrics meeting. We have a series of strategy sessions with our clients. One of those is understanding the past and the present in order to help us to make decisions going forward. So we're looking at leading indicators. By definition, whenever you've got revenue or you've got cash in the bank, it's a lagging indicator, right? It's a result. It happened, right? And so when we're putting together our forecast for our clients, we're looking at the drivers of the business and we're looking at some of those things, those indicators that will help us to determine what's going to happen in the future. Because we're looking out 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, right, to give visibility on the future and helping to make decisions earlier on before you actually get to a certain point is really what we're doing, providing that visibility.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So what are some of the businesses that have the need for a fractional CFO? What are some of the common themes that are going on? And I guess where I'm going with this is to try to help listeners that may be thinking about their own business, maybe see some of those characteristics in their business, right? So what are those, maybe what the way to answer the question is, what do I need to see that makes me think I need to pick up the phone and call Next Level Financial?
Yeah. One of the things which we talked about is decisions are made, if decisions are being made mostly on gut feel or intuition or just conversations, then you need a fractional CFO. You need someone to help, right? Because our goal is to be able to provide that clarity with the data that you have and do some forecasting to help you make decisions. So what we call it is going from being reactive to proactive, right? So the goal is consistent, proactive decision making as opposed to just putting out fires all the time. And, we're going to have a cash flow crunch. So like understanding where we're at and what's ahead so we can properly be proactive in the decision making process. So that's a big thing. And then scaling. You want to grow. So the business wants to grow. We want to double revenue or whatever the case is. There has to be an actual roadmap and strategy into how we're going to do that. So if we're going to double revenue, for example, in the current year, what does that mean for the rest of the business? Do we need to hire additional people? How much additional cost can we take on? How much marketing do we need to take on? Do we need to invest in? So all those types of strategic decisions are important when you're trying to scale the business. And what I say is your financials is your best friend in the sense that they provide you wisdom, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a question, most of the time about your business, you can find some answers or at least a guide within your financials. They will tell you something and they will give you some direction on what you need to do or where you need to go. And so we're all about illuminating that wisdom, right? So that those decisions can be made in a profitable manner.
I'm laughing when he said your financials are your best friend, because this is where it's really funny, because I would say more than half of the people are really scared of it. Like it's their worst enemy. And so I think you asked earlier about like how it is that James is able to build trust. I think part of it is because he's just so comfortable with the financials. And all of our clients aren't necessarily in their best season all the time. What they want is the brutal facts to be illuminated. And you want somebody who's going to bring light to that in a way that's not, what are we going to do? But what are we going to do? Yeah. Like that's part of the work is having somebody who's not afraid. Our daughter said one day to James, Dad, what you do, that takes a lot of courage. And I thought to myself, she's right. Because there are some times where he has to be that guy to say, hey, here's what it is right now. This is the forecast. I'm hopeful that we'll make it through, and let's use this information to make some good decisions moving forward. One other thing I want to add is this comes from, James didn't tell about, both our grandparents owned businesses. And so you asked, how do we know that people are ready to work with us? Part of it is also their long vision. So like people throw out, I want to leave a legacy for my kids, but they're not working like they want to leave a legacy. And so I think part of our work is because our grandparents both owned businesses that they were not able to pass down, that just really fizzled away. We want to really be supportive of people who say, I want to leave a legacy. And I think that requires some real support and strategy on the finance side.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Great words from Paris Williams, who's here along with James, her husband, and her. Is he your employee?
Yeah, we are both co-founders.
Yes. The correct answer is yes.
Thank you for letting me kid you. Though Paris and James are the co-owners of Next Level Financial, a fractional CFO firm. So what are I know every client's different, but what are the biggest moments of clarity that you see with business owners as they get into working with you? What are the big light bulb moments that come for them?
Yeah, I think that really just, we had one of our clients, we started working with them, and a few months in, we presented to their board, and they had never had a sort of financial presentation like we did it. And it brought so much clarity to what they were trying to do and what they were looking at, that the chairman and the CEO both just commented on, we've never had anything like this. This is great. This is helpful. We can actually make decisions. And so just being able to bring a level of clarity and just share and communicate what I'm seeing and how what they are trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish relates back to their financial situation, and being able to use those financials to better navigate through. I believe that's what they were saying. And it was, to me, I wasn't expecting that it was like such a big deal, but they found a lot of value in it. And they wanted to make sure that we knew how much value we were bringing to the situation.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Let's talk about your ideal clients, the types of clients that are best fits for you.
I think I touched on it a little bit. So service-based business owners, right now we're looking to really expand just in the Atlanta metro. So really focused here in our community. Our office is in Swanee. So this is where we want to, meet and make an impact on business owners. Typically, they are at least $2 million in annual revenue and growing and looking to expand. As far as like really the mindset goes, really, it's somebody who they're very open about where they are. I would say we can tell when we're on a discovery call because they're very like, listen, business is going great, but on this part, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't have time. If they can be that open in a first call, we're like, this is good because it requires that. So I would say service-based company, 2 to 20 million, growing, hiring, and really liking us and the way we do the work.
Yeah. And there've got to be just a lot of success stories that you could tell, certainly, but maybe you could share one or two that help illustrate the great work you do.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of one of our clients that we started working with, and this client was under $1 million in revenue at the time when we brought them on. And what was really good about that whole situation is it was one of our earlier relationships. Our client was growing. She had concerns about hiring and if she was going to be able to sustain the level of hiring that she needed, and just running the numbers, crunching the numbers, working with her month in and month out, and just seeing her trajectory. Her revenue is more than double what it was initially. And it's just a great feeling. And I know from her perspective, she appreciates what we've done, and we've been able to help just bring that level of capacity and competence in that area so that she can focus in on what she does very well. And then for us, this is very gratifying to be able to be a part of the story and part of the journey, and a part of the journey of a client that's really doing really great work and impacting her client and the communities that her clients are in. So it feels great. It just feels really great to do this work.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Anything you want to add to that, Paris?
No, I think just to James's point about presenting to the board. So that's another like kind of thing that comes up for CEOs that need to present the financials to the board. I think that has been something that having that area of competence is really helpful, but also for our larger clients, what's powerful is being on the team with the operations people, the sales team, because this isn't done all on its own in a little room with James meeting just with the CEO. I think one of the success stories is being able to really make an impact on the team. And for example, we joke that like salespeople think they're going to close on everything. Like, okay, a great CEO who really believes in their business will say, I made 5 million last year, so this year it's 10 million. And that's it. Like they really, and listen, some of these people have gotten themselves very far by having good intuition, good contacts, luck, whatever you want to call it, but it can only get you so far.
Yeah.
So it is really nice when we can be on a team, usually with a bookkeeper and an accountant, with the sales leader on the team, with the CPA who's doing the taxes, because then we can get into a real rhythm to really support the business on the next level.
Wow. Such great work. James and Paris Williams, Next Level Financial. Paris, James, thank you so much for coming in. This has been fantastic, and congratulations on your wonderful work. We're excited to be able to shine a light on that work. I can't imagine there aren't some folks that hearing this interview wouldn't want to find you. So let's talk about your coordinates.
Yes. So our website is nextlevelfinancial.co. So if you go to our website, you can connect there. We are very active on LinkedIn, so you can find Paris Williams, Next Level Financial on LinkedIn. Those are the best ways to reach us. If you go to our website, you can find all of our contact information. But I love LinkedIn, so let's connect there.
Terrific. Paris and James Williams, Next Level Financial.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, folks, just a couple of quick things before we let you go. We talked a little bit about how Renaissance helps their clients, but Renaissance is also out in the community. And one of their big efforts right now is supporting the Georgia Alliance for Breast Cancer, which is a registered 501c3 nonprofit that seeks to support Georgia's breast cancer community by raising funds to support breast health and breast cancer programs throughout the state. Now, they have a walk coming up here in a couple of weeks. If you're listening to this show in September 2024, they've got a walk that's coming up, and it is instead of that 3-day, 60-mile walk that you might have been familiar with in the past, this is 2 days, 30 miles, and you sleep in a hotel instead of a tent. That's my kind of walk. So if you want to support this great cause that has touched so many people across the country, go to gaabc.org. That's your website to check out, get more information, find out about the walk. You don't have to walk. You can actually contribute to those that are in the walk. But there are a bunch of Renaissance employees there, and the company's giving both corporately and through employee donations. So check it out, and I think you'll be glad you did. And also, I have a book out. It's called The Generosity Mindset, A Journey to Business Success by Raising Your Confidence, Value, and Prices. If you're a solo or small professional service firm and you're struggling with issues around your value, your positioning, your business development, and your pricing, this book is written for you. Go to thegenerositymindset.com to learn more and find out where to buy the book. Also, I just want to thank you, our listening audience, our listeners out there. I can see some of your faces that have supported us so much over the years. We passed show number 800 a few shows ago, and we've only gotten this far because of you. You continue to support us in so many different ways. You like the show, share it on social media, send us great guests, and we're grateful for you. You help us live into our mission to be the voice of business in the North Fulton region and beyond, and I'm grateful for that support. Thank you. So for my guests, Paris and James Williams, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on North Fulton Business Radio.